Hello everyone, welcome to the next part of this tutorial. So far we have looked at how to create this engine, engine toy model, and we are using this image as a reference. So we got most of the things done here. Now today we are going to look at how to create this model. Okay, so we have this and we need to work on the back part and the front part of this element. So we will look at how to create this. Okay, so first thing what we will do is we will select this object and duplicate it, for example. Okay, now we have to work with, if I go to the object display options and turn on wireframe, you will see that this object has the smoothness that we have created. And to further modify this object, it is quite complex to do it. So what we will do is we'll create a new one. So I'll go to add, mesh and cube, and we'll make this cube approximately the same size of this one. Okay, so we can get rid of this, and now we will modify this one so that it looks like this. Alright, so now you can see that we need to extrude this part out and we need to sculpt the front part. Now what is important to understand is now we are getting into sculpting. Alright, so if you look at this object and look at the wireframe, you will see that these lines are going through and through. I'll move this out. And you can see that these lines are going through and through. So we need a curve here and we need some geometry here, but you can see that everything, all these faces are four-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4. So every single face in this model is four-sided. Okay, every single thing, and that is very important to understand, that when you're modeling, all your four faces have to be four-sided. So when you plan to model, you have to model it in such a way that you get four-sided geometry. So I will show you how you can do it wrong and then how to fix it. Okay, so first we will go to the wireframe mode here, go to edit mode, and we will select all these edges in the center, right click and subdivide. Okay, so we created this line, and then now we can select this face and we'll right click and say extrude face, and then we'll extrude it out. And then we'll go to this edge, shift select this edge and right click, and we can say bevel edges, and percent works better, so we will use percent. And now you can see that we have created the back part. It was quite fast and easy, right? This part. Now when we are working on this one, we need more geometry, and if I add segments here, let us do that. So I'll go to wireframe mode again, select these, and I will say subdivide, and then we will need, so I'm adding subdivisions, so I have this center object selected. Okay, so I will select these. Now I'll go to the vertex mode. I'll hit the Alt key and then drag the middle mouse button so I can see, I want to see the top view. Okay, actually we want to see the side view. This view cannot work in that view. It's better to work in perspective. So we'll select the bottom faces, move them out. Then we can select this face and move it out. Okay, and that creates the front part of it. We can use the edges to further make it look better. So this will go back. Then we can use these two to further go back. Okay, so that will be the front part of the engine. And then what we can do is select all of these and move them back. Then we can select these two to make a straight line like this. So that's good enough. Okay, and then you get that object. Now you cannot, if you look at this face, this solves our problem if we are not going to further add subdivisions to this or make it smooth, because now the top surface you can see here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and here you have only one side. So this is not a very clean geometry to work with if you want to further modify this. But because we are not going to further modify this, it is fine for now. All right, now the rest of the things that we need to do is make those edges sharp. So again, we'll go to the wireframe mode and select all the boundary edges. Okay, so I'm using the shift key and then moving around and selecting all the boundary edges. Okay, so all the boundary edges are selected. And we will go right click and then bevel edges. And then we'll go to offset 0.05 and 4. Okay, so we'll try to use percent and see what the results are. So everything gives different results. You can see the person makes this small depth. .05 offset. So offset function works better in this case. Okay, that's about it. We'll go to object mode, change the material to brown, delete this object and move this in place. Okay, and then if you right click and say shade smooth, the engine is, that part is ready. Okay, so it will take some practice if you work on it, but if you look at this one, I used a different technique where all the lines went through. So to create this way, what I did was, we can create this way now. We'll go to add mesh cube. Okay, I will real quickly create this one. Okay, I'll go to edit mode, wireframe mode, select the middle ones and subdivide. Then I'll select this face and extrude face, so that is extruded, but I'm not going to bevel this. Okay, so that's the difference. Now we can select the middle edges, right click, subdivide, and here I'm going to use 1 2, so I need 2 more here in the middle, so 1 and then 1 more, so 4 faces. Then I can go to vertex mode, select this, move it slightly out, select the middle ones and move it slightly out. Okay, so that's how I'm going to create that curve, and we will again use the same modeling technique for the front face. So I select these 3, move it out, select the middle one, move it out, and then we can use the vertex and then start carving it out. So this goes back, the middle one goes back, these ones go back. That's about it. Okay, so if you select this object mode and look at the difference between this and that, now of course you can add the smooth edges later on, but if you go to this object and turn wireframe on, you can see that all of these are 4-sided, but in here these are not 4-sided. Okay, so the lines are not going through. So this is the right way to do it. This is clean geometry, this is not. That's what is very important to understand. And if you add a modifier called smooth, subdivision surface, you can see how the geometry is messed up when you use subdivision surface. So you here's subdivision surface on this and it modifies properly, but this one doesn't modify properly. So if I add subdivision on this one, you can see that the resulting geometry here is much cleaner than in this one. So that is important to understand about a modeling. Okay, that's about it. Thank you.